Hi, this is Sahana. In this video, we are going to understand C# variables. As per MSDN, variables represent the storage locations. Every variable has a type that determines what values can be stored in the variable. In short, we can say variable is a named storage location that holds data that can be changed during the execution of program. If you are thinking, why do we use a variable? Variables are used to store and manipulate data in a C# program. Let's understand variables with an example. A simple example would be adding two numbers. Before you can use a variable, you must declare it. A variable declaration specifies the data type and name of the variable. If I have to declare a variable, first I have to specify its type. I will choose int, then I have to give some meaningful name to my variable. I will say number 1 and you have to end with semicolon. The same way you can declare int number 2 again end with semicolon. There is one more way. Instead of declaring them in separate lines, you can separate them by comma and you can declare them. And at the same time, I would like to declare one more variable, that is sum. There is one more concept called as variable initialization. Initialization means assigning an initial value to the variable. I will show you how to initialize the variables. I will comment this line. I will say int num1. I will assign the value. We call this as initialization. In this example, we have declared integer type variable. If you want to declare string type variable, specify the data type, then name your variable. Variable names must follow certain rules and conventions. Important variable naming conventions are: always remember, variable name must start with a letter or underscore. You cannot start with a special character. And variable name can contain letters, digits and underscores. And also variable names are case sensitive. And you cannot use spaces in between. I can declare variable like age. Here, if you notice, this variable name has started with an alphabet. Or else you can declare it like underscore name. Even this is valid. You cannot declare it like hash grade. Here hash is a special character. Variable name cannot start with the special character. This is wrong. Another example is you cannot start variable name with a number. Even this is wrong. Here is another example. You cannot start variable name with a number, but you can include number in a variable name. In this example, we are using space. Even this is wrong. Compiler give us the error. Here is another example. In this example, both the variables, they are having the same name. But this one is starting with lowercase p and this one is starting with uppercase p. Variables have a scope. Scope defines where they can be accessed within the program. Common scopes include method level scope, class level scope, and block level scope. Let's discuss class level scope. Class level variables are associated with a particular class. They are used to store data that is shared among the methods and properties of that class. And they are also known as class fields or instance variables. I have added new class, student class. I will add a variable, public variable, string, name. This is a class level variable. I will add one more variable, public int age. These two are class level variables. Class level variables can be accessed from a method present inside the class. I have assigned values to these variables. Now I will write a method. I have written this method to display student information. See, from this method we have accessed these two class level variables. Next we have method level scope. These variables are also called as local variables. They are declared within a method. They are used to store temporary data that is needed only for the duration of the method's execution. See, here we have a student class and we have variables name and age. These two are class level variables. This class has a method display students info. If I declare any variable within this method, then that will be method level variable, and that will have method level scope, and that variable will be local to this method. I will declare a variable string message and I'll assign the value. This is local variable. Please note, the scope of a local variable is limited to the method in which it is declared. It is not accessible outside of that method. See, we have declared this variable within display student info method. If instead of printing it here, if I try to access that variable, I will get error. See, it says the name message does not exist in the current context because this message, this variable is only local to this method and we cannot access this variable outside of that method. If I write this statement here, we don't get any error. One more important thing is method level variables are created when the method is invoked and destroyed when the method exits. Next is block level scope. Block level variables are variables that have a limited scope within a specific block of code. Block of code could be a method, a conditional statement, a loop, or any other block structure. In the student class, name and age are class level variables. Here message is method level variable. Now we are going to understand block level variable. I will write a condition if age is greater than or equals to 18, then I will declare block level variable. I will assign a value. See, this is block level variable. We cannot access this variable outside of this block. Instead of printing this message inside this block, if I try to print it outside of this block and try to access this variable, I will get error message. The name result does not exist in the current context because this is block level variable. It exists only inside this if block. Inside this if block, I can access this method level variable. Instead of result, I can print message. This is okay. Even I can access class level variable. Thus, the scope of a block level variable is limited to the block in which it is declared. These variables are not accessible outside of that block. You might have heard the term implicitly typed variables. Implicitly typed variables are declared without specifying an explicit data type. And where keyword is used to declare such variables. The data type of the variable is determined based on the assigned value. As I mentioned earlier, we use where keyword to declare implicitly typed variables. If I say where salary, then it will be implicitly typed variable. We have to assign the value. I will say 1000. Now compiler will decide the type of this variable based on the value we assign. In this case, we have assigned integer type value. Thus, type of this variable salary will become integer. We have to remember one thing. Once the data type is inferred during compilation, it cannot be changed. The variable will have the same data type as the assigned value. In our case, we have assigned integer value. I cannot make it like salary is equals to. I cannot assign any other data type to this variable because compiler has already decided that it is integer type variable. I hope now you know what are variables and how to use them in C# application. Thanks for your time. See you soon in the next video. Thank you.